What's up, fam? And welcome to the Healthy, Fit, and Pain-Free podcast. I am your host, Doc T for Doc T Time, and this is episode 31. Happy holidays, everybody. Coming quick next week for those of you who celebrate Christmas. And that is why we want to touch on this topic. This is part 2 in this 3-part series titled, How to Not Let Your Health Go to Shh Around the Holidays. So, if you're new to the Healthy, Fit, and Pain-Free podcast, the Healthy, Fit, and Pain-Free podcast is a podcast. I am a physical therapist and a strength conditioning coach. My co-host Ryan Wade is also a strength conditioning coach. We are the owners of Inner Strength, and we are here to provide you simple, implementable, and no BS advice to help you get out of pain, lose weight, get stronger, get ready for the holidays without all the crap that comes with it and all the crap that's out there for that matter. So a little bit about me. If you're new to the Healthy, Fit, and Pain-Free podcast, I am Dr. Tyler, or Doc T as they call me. I am a doctor of physical therapy. I am also a strength conditioning coach and, again, also co-owner of Inner Strength. So how we're going to go through this today is we're just going to touch about, for part 2, 4 ways to manage your eating around the holidays. And a few people out there are rolling their eyes, and some might even think, oh, he's going to tell me the same thing. Maybe, maybe not. Or I might just put a different spin on it. So let's try her out, shall we? So I wanted to do this 3-part series because the biggest thing is, why do we have such struggles with our health, our wellness, and our fitness around the holidays? And again, this kind of goes with the 3-part series. And last week, if you haven't checked it out, episode 30, you better, to where I give you 5 ways to exercise around the holidays. But the 3 things that typically happen with people with their health, their wellness, their fitness around the holidays is, number 1, their exercise and their activities goes down. We have some of the most devoted ladies in the world when it comes to their fitness. And around this time, some of them they don't fall off, but they are not as consistent. Things come up: traveling, family, shopping, preparing, baking, cooking, baking, baking. And so all that stuff comes in, so our exercise and our activity goes down. So if you want to learn more about that, check out last week's episode. Number 2 is eating habits go down. If you're someone who's very consistent with your diet or someone who's not so consistent, still around the holiday time, we tend to just be a little bit more free, if you will. There's more get-togethers with friends. There's more happy hours. There's all these holiday parties. You have Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, Hanukkah, all that, all in around the same time. So there's so many things that float around those. So our eating habits tend to go off what they typically are. And then number 3 is increase in stress, which we will cover next week. But for today, 4 ways to manage your eating around the holidays. So without further ado, number 1, plan out your weekly and daily portions. I know, right? Boring. But no, seriously, this is something that's very important. For one, what doesn't get prepared prepares to fail. And that's what we have to do. We have to plan accordingly. And I'm not saying you have to sit there and plan out every single meal. I'm not saying you have to plan out every single carb, fat, protein. I'm not even saying that you have to meal prep necessarily. What I'm saying is, if you're in a point right now where you just want to maintain your weight, cool. If you're at a point where you want to gain weight, like you're trying to get stronger, cool. If you're at a point where you're trying to lose weight, cool. The thing is each of these has very different plans in place. And so you have to figure out what you're doing. If you're someone who struggles, maybe losing weight around the holidays is not the best idea. Now, if you're someone who has been losing weight for a few months now, I'm not saying the holidays you should just let loose, but this might be a good time for you to go back up to, up your calories a little bit more, up around towards maintenance, and just kind of, not stress so much about it. Get your metabolism kind of get up a little bit, get your food choices up a little bit, and make it a little less stressful, because then whenever you go back to trying to lose weight again, it'll just fall off that much faster. But something else taken into consideration here. So when you plan out weekly and then daily, I say weekly because, daily you can plan out, but weekly we don't, and then all these things come up, all these meetings come up, all these happy hours come up, and then they're like, oh, what should I do? But something else to consider. Around this time of the year, our carbs and our fats especially typically go through the roof. People think carbs, just carbs, but no, fats is definitely theirs too. Baked goods, different dips, appetizers, things around the table that we're eating, even certain drinks, like eggnog has fat in it. Sorry, people, and a little bit of carbs. And then you throw alcohol in there. So your carbs and your fats go up a lot more. So I say this in a sense for even like daily planning. So let's say you are someone who is trying to lose weight or even maintain it around the holidays. Let's say it's, if you celebrate Christmas, let's say Christmas Day. Well, maybe you want to enjoy that one big meal, but around the day, maybe lower your carbs and your fats. Keep your protein up, but lower your carbs and your fats, because you're going to get that through all the other things and the alcohol if you drink and stuff like that too. So, maybe not eat as much of that, but other meals throughout the day, maybe wake up, and this will come to my next one, but whenever you wake up, have an omelet with veggies. And then later on that night, have a protein with a veggie. And then, have a snack at some point with at least a protein and maybe even a veggie or something thrown in there. And then around that big meal, you can have your carbs and your fats. But again, don't be a glutton. But so number one there is plan out weekly and daily portions, depending on what your goals are. Number two, again, kind of goes off the last one. Increase your veggies, your protein, your water, and then eat more. Now, I mean this all the time, but especially on the day of. So I just mentioned, around the meal, you can always have, you can throw a veggie and a protein in there. But especially during that actual meal, so let's say you're a family that has turkey. Well, throw a lot more turkey on your plate. And if you have any type of veggie there that's not, not completely out of a can and covered in butter and all that stuff, if you have a veggie there, throw a lot more of that on too, and then enjoy little portions of the other stuff. And I say that because we always feel like we want to get full on these items, but we don't. We just want to taste them. I'm sorry to tell you that research has shown that whenever you eat something good, that satisfaction rate for that goes down with each bite. So the first bite that you take is actually the highest satisfaction rate you're going to get with that food. So that being said, whenever you're eating throughout the day or you're eating that meal, try to eat the protein, the veggies first and more of those, and drink lots of water too, so that whenever you get to those other portions, you eat a little bit less of them. I'm not saying don't enjoy them, but just eating less of them. And that goes throughout the day too, as I kind of outlined earlier. So, number two, increase your veggies, your protein, and your water during the day of, and eat more. And that's around the holidays as well. It'll also keep you full faster, just saying. Number three, don't skip breakfast or snacks. Now, some people might try to tell you that during holidays or anything like that, you should really practice intermittent fasting because you'll eat less. I highly disagree with this. Now, I'm not saying this is wrong. This can be a good approach. But if you're someone who is like a bull behind the gates, and that dinner is where they're going to open up the gates and you're going to plow your way through the table, this is intermittent fasting and stuff like that is not for you. Okay. The reason being is, when we start, and this is what people typically do. People wake up and they're like, I'm just not going to eat until we have dinner. You starve yourself all day, so that by the time that meal comes, you're absolutely starving. Food flies right through you, and then you don't get full as fast. And the reality is, what you actually should do is you shouldn't really change what you're doing. Again, you should wake up, you should have breakfast, and even later on in the morning, you should have a little snack too. Again, protein and veggies, just saying. But you should throw those in your system, because that's going to help you, again, to be more satisfied. You're going to get your protein in, you're going to get your fiber, your vitamins, your minerals, your protein, all that stuff. You get that, you take that in, that's going to help you to not be so horrifically hungry whenever it comes to that meal or anything else that day. And even if it's not that, it at least keeps you from diving into the dessert table so much afterwards as well. Because what happens is, if you haven't eaten all day and then you eat dinner flies through you. And then if you go right into desserts, or like what my family does, we have the dinner, lunch, whatever you want to call it, the dinner, and then an hour and a half, 2 hours later, we have desserts. So it's like meal number 2 is desserts. So, making sure that you're eating enough so that you are satisfied, so you're not so just, I don't even know what word to use right now. But again, people they're so starving, their appetite's so high at that point that they just binge on all the food around. And if you have some food in you, that won't happen. So number 3, don't skip breakfast or snacks. Fill them with veggies and protein. All right. Number 4, eat around workouts and activity. So as I mentioned earlier, and again, you can visit episode 30 of last week, where I talk about ways that you can exercise around the holidays. And I'm not talking about just like workouts. I'm talking about ways you can stay active. And the best thing to do is to actually eat certain foods around your workout. Now, I'm not saying that you can go have a big workout and then go and just eat whatever you want and it's fine. No, that's not the case at all. But what does happen is, at least if you eat around your workout, that food is getting digested quickly, it's going through you quickly, and you can at least do something with that. But the other thing too is, so let's say you eat at like 2 o'clock, okay? If you wake up, you have that omelet, you have those veggies, you have some water. Later on in the afternoon, you have, maybe a protein shake and stuff like that. You're feeling pretty good. Then you have your workout. Well, at that point, you've eaten healthy all morning. You've had your workout, and now it's time for dinner. In your mind, like your subconscious is already thinking, okay, we've been good all day. We put in a good workout. We're not just going to blow this apart with, the rest of the day with eating, drinking, and desserts. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. People definitely do that. But at the same time, it definitely helps to keep that habit going, that healthy habit going throughout the day. Now, something else too, I love 10-minute walks after you eat as well. This helps you to digest food. It helps you to not just sit around, so people love throwing the cookies in the middle of the table and then you just sit around and you just keep reaching for one after the other. Well, if you, go for a 10-minute walk, you're not necessarily doing that. And then even getting 10-minute walks intermittently throughout the day is going to help with digesting. It's going to help, again, keep you from just being lazy all day and just grabbing at the cookies and stuff like that. So something else to consider. So number 4, eat around workouts and activities. And, like I said last week, don't be afraid to take people with you. Make these things social. If you have an uncle or an aunt that you haven't seen in forever and they want to go, that you want to talk with, or a cousin, something like that, take them with you. Then you can have some really good talks, really good conversation, and you're not listening to your Uncle Frank BS about politics, right? So 4 ways to manage eating around the holidays. Number 1, plan out weekly and daily portions. Number 2, increase veggies, protein, water, and more. Number 3, don't skip breakfast or snacks. And number 4, eat around your workouts or activities. As you guys know, we always like to end these episodes with 3 takeaways. Now, I already just gave you 4, obviously, but 3 takeaways that are very similar, but not exactly the same. Number 1 is, first takeaway is increase your veggies and your proteins. This is all day. This is the meals of. This is in general. If you increase your veggies and your protein, you're going to, make yourself fuller longer. You're going to make yourself fuller in the process of whenever you're eating actual meals, like big meals and stuff like that. But you're also going to give yourself the vitamins and minerals you need. You're going to give yourself what you need to continue building muscle. Just super important, and it's not always about taking things away. It's about adding things into. So always being conscious of your veggies and proteins. Don't just focus on the pies. Takeaway number 2, don't manipulate. Now, I know throughout this, it's kind of been talking about how to manipulate things, but in reality, you can't really manipulate. Don't try to intermittent fast. Don't try to feel like you can have a big ass workout right before, not eat anything the rest of the day, and then you can just pound food then. Don't feel like you can just, you cannot eat for the entire week. Trust me, I've done this before. I've went multiple days without eating and then went to a holiday. I swear to God, I've done it. Went to a holiday dinner. So don't do things like that. Don't, try guzzling down a bunch of carbonated beverages so that you don't eat as much. You just don't manipulate. Your body is our body are smarter than we are. Our body will do whatever it takes to survive. It'll figure out a way. So just don't try to manipulate. Don't try to do all these, these hacks and all this stuff to try to eat more and still have your gains. You'll be fine. Which really is the next one, the last number 3. Don't fret about it. And I say this as much to myself as I do to everybody else. Don't fret about the holidays. If you're someone who has really kept up with your goals, you've really stayed strong, you've really been committed, one day is not going to ruin everything. One day is not going to ruin anything. If anything, you're just going to gain a bunch of water weight. So other thing too, don't step on the scale the day after or 2 days after, because you'll have some water weight and it'll definitely mess with your mind. But, this is the time of year to enjoy time with friends, family you haven't seen in a while. And so make it more about seeing family and friends and less about the food and less about the drinks. Enjoy that social time that you have. As we saw in the past 2 years, that social time is way more, it's way stronger than what we truly give it powerful. We all took a lot of that for granted. So just enjoy that time. And again, don't make it about the food, the drinks, or anything like that. So that's it for episode 31, how to not let your health go to around the holidays, part 2, 4 ways to manage your eating. This podcast is brought to you by Inner Strength Physio Fitness Athletics. Our West location is based out of Coraopolis / Robinson, PA at 203 Hershinger Road. We are also partnered in the West location with Case-Specific Nutrition. They are a locally owned business with registered dietitians. That's right. They at least have a bachelor or more degree to give you advice, whether it's for sports nutrition, weight loss, medical side of nutrition, or just general advice that they can give you. Also, we are opening up our South location on January 3rd. That is in Lawrence, PA, not Lawrenceville, Lawrence, PA, in the South Hills. That is at 108 Commerce Boulevard. If you would like to learn more about that, you can visit our website at innerstrengthpgh.com. That is INNERSTRENGTH.com, to where you can learn more about that. Or you can reach out to us at info@innerstrengthpgh.com to learn more about either location and how you can join all of the fun. You can also check us out on Facebook at Inner Strength, but also Healthy, Fit, and Pain-Free Pittsburgh group. Ask to join. We give consistent free advice weekly about how to, again, get out of pain, lose weight, get stronger. And then there's me, Doc T. You can reach out to me at Dr.Tyler_Bordick to learn a little bit more, or you can email me at Dr.Tyler@innerstrengthpgh.com. Guys, do well this season. We'll see you next week for episode 3. Have a marvelous holiday up to week. Love you. Mwah.